morning, everybody. It's the old captain coming to you live from Crooked Creek. We didn't come far, really, just across from our dock, but sitting here in the canoe. Because of the angle of the camera, you're not be able to see the stuff behind me unless I pick this up and let you get a glimpse of it, just to show you that I am indeed in the marsh. But anyway, that's where I'm sitting. I just got a new little thing holding the camera. I don't know how permanent that'll be, but we're going to use it for this morning. We're going to talk about several things today. We're going to talk about oxymorons. We're going to talk about cornerstones. We're going to talk about salvation. Now, oxymoron is like two terms that are seemingly contradictory together in a conjunction, and we'll see that in our first verse that we're going to read, and we're reading from 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 4, and it says, "Coming to him," capital H for Jesus, "coming to Jesus as a living stone, rejected indeed by men, but chosen by God and precious." A living stone, rejected by men, but chosen by God and precious. Living stone is an oxymoron. I've not seen many rocks that are alive. You know, they're inanimate. They're just sitting there. Years ago, you may have had a pet rock, but you didn't have to pet it, you didn't have to feed it, you didn't have to clean up after it, you didn't have to take it to the vet or worry about it getting out of the fence, because it was inanimate. And I guess pet rock is probably an oxymoron as well. But when I think of oxymoron, I think of terms like I've gone today, short pants. Now, I don't have on short pants, folks. I got on shorts. They're either shorts or they're pants. How about jumbo shrimp? If I'm calling someone a shrimp, that to me means small. So jumbo shrimp in the same word is an oxymoron. Small crowd. Small crowd. If it's a crowd, it's not small. It's just a small group. So, you know, you can go on and on. Google oxymoron and you'll find more than you ever want to know about oxymorons. But anyhow, living stone is the term that we're looking at this morning. And Jesus is a living stone because what was once dead is now alive. Jesus died on the cross. He was gloriously resurrected after the third day. So what was dead was now living. So Peter is addressing Jesus as the living stone. And later in that verse, later in that chapter, Peter says, "Therefore to you who believe, he is precious, but to those who are disobedient, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone." Now, I've not been to Israel, but I understand there's not a lot of wood there. There's not a lot of trees there. When people, there's several new houses going around not far from us. We pass them almost regularly. You see a lot of pine studs. You see a lot of the framing is basically 2x4 pine boards, but apparently they don't do a lot of that where there's no trees, whether it's Israel or wherever. And over there, their chief natural thing was rocks, and so rocks and stones. So they used what they had to do what they had to do. Well, when they were building stuff, they started with a particular corner and a main huge boulder, main huge rock. It was probably hewn out so it'd be square on the sides and stuff. And they would place that cornerstone in the spot then everything else that was built played off of it. It was the reference. If one side was leaning out, that whole wall would lean out. If one side was leaning in, the whole wall would lean in. So as the cornerstone did, so did the rest of the building. So Peter is referring to Jesus as the cornerstone of our faith, the cornerstone of salvation. Not a cornerstone, but the cornerstone. So when you think about a living stone, when you think about the cornerstone and the stone being Jesus himself, Peter also says, talking about the living stone, he says, you also, as living stones, are being built up to a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. He's calling the believers there living stones. He's saying that, the word Christian means little Christ. So if I profess to be a Christian, there should be some evidence in my life that shows that I'm a believer, that I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. Because the church is made up of the cornerstone, first and foremost. When you're building, you need a cornerstone. You also need a blueprint, and we have a blueprint, God's holy word. And then you are to create living stones, which are followers of Jesus Christ, to build your church. Now, it just so happens we're in the process of a building program at Lakeside Baptist Church. They're already clearing some trees, they're doing some grading, and in 1 year, hopefully, by the grace of God, we will be in a new worship center that seats almost 3 times what we're seating now. So we're excited about that, but I want to remind myself and you that the building is not the church. I'm part of that living stone. I am a living stone, and I'm part of the church because the church is believers. The church isn't a building. The church is the body of believers who believe in Jesus Christ as the Messiah and the only way to salvation. So I'm kind of rambling this morning, but I hope you'll get the idea that Jesus is the living stone. He is the cornerstone on which we are to true up with and to build ourselves, and we are to follow him and learn more about him so that we can be more like him. So I don't know what you're standing on this morning. You might be standing on this, standing on that, but I couldn't help but think of a hymn, and again, I've used it before, but when we're talking about stones and cornerstones, how in the world can we not think about the solid rock? Now, solid rock is not an oxymoron. You expect a rock to be solid. Now, living stone is different. Short pants is different. Small group is different. But solid rock is solid, just like it says. Well, I'm not sure where your hope is this morning, but my hope is on that solid rock. I want to read the first verse. The Solid Rock was written by Edward Mote, who lived in the late 1700s through really had a good long life, 77 years, 1797, 1874. But even in 1 Corinthians, it's 1 Corinthians 10:4, it says, they drank from the spiritual rock, Christ. And it's on that rock that I stand this morning. Verse 1 says, my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly lean on Jesus' name. It says, when darkness seems to hide his face, I rest on his unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. I hope that you are secure and anchored in that same solid rock this morning. But here we go, 4 verses. It's a short song, even though it's 4 verses. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly lean on Jesus' name. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. When darkness seems to hide his face, I rest on his unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. His oath, his covenant, his blood support me in the whelming flood. When all around my soul gives way, he then is all my hope and stay. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. This last verse is particularly special. When he shall come with trumpet sound, oh, may I then in him be found, dressed in his righteousness alone, faultless to stand before the throne. Faultless because of him, faultless because he is the cornerstone, faultless because he is the Messiah. Verse 4, when he shall come with trumpet sound, oh, may I then in him be found, dressed in his righteousness alone, faultless to stand before the throne. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. All other ground is sinking sand. Folks, I hope you're anchored in that solid rock. This morning, never mind, we'll just go past that. But this morning, I'm thankful for you joining us. I thank you for checking us out week after week. I hope you'll share this with someone else if it's been of any benefit at all. Hope you've had a great weekend. I hope you'll have a great week ahead. We had some bad weather this weekend, but fortunately, not for the people west of us, but fortunately for us, it kind of bypassed us. So this time, we didn't have any trees down or loss of power or anything like that. They had a tough time west of us, but that's a matter of prayer. That I understand 77,000 people are out of power this morning, so that's a tough lick. But anyway, thank you for joining us. Hope you'll have a great week, and thank you for joining us for this week's Crooked Creek Hymn of the Week. Take care, and God bless.